Investing, happy Thursday. Today is February 19th, 2026. Let's talk about the market. Nothing really happened too crazy on SPY. SPY today kind of gapped up. Did we gap up? No, we didn't. We actually gapped down today. Kind of played within that range. We did kind of undercut it and get brought up. But for the most part, nothing really has changed here. Looking at SPY, I mean, again, all chop. I don't think there's really anything to talk about. Tomorrow is OPEX, right? So thinking about that for me, I probably won't be trading. I'm not planning to trade. I know how wild shit can get on OPEX, and I don't really want to mess around with the algos on a Friday. And had a really awesome week, so I think I'm just going to call it here. I'm actually going to not even be at the trading desk. I'm going to go upstairs to the office and I'm going to work out of the office. So I think that will help me have some restrictions on trading because I won't be at the desk to kind of monitor things. Right, I have my phone, but I don't really trade off my phone. But yeah, looking here at the at the weekly, towards the bottom of this previous weekly candle. I mean, nothing too crazy, but there are signs. There are signs to kind of be fearful. I wouldn't say fearful, but there's some signs in the market that we're probably going to get a deeper pullback. Probably. I wouldn't say probably, but the the possibility of us getting a deeper pullback is increasing. Just based on some of the price action you're seeing on a lot of things out here. But yeah, I mean that's what you got on SPY. I mean we can go really quick look at intraday, and this is why I'm just kind of happy with myself. Like I've kind of stayed away from the dabbling with the with the options because like man this was pretty brutal. Earlier in the morning if you look at it, from the opening session like nothing here, right? This chop all the way into 12. All right, you got somewhat of a downtrend later on the day, but chop. It was a lot of chop. If you were sitting here trying to trade the indices, man, good luck here. You just, you probably lost money, right? Fake breakdown, fake breakups. I mean, fake breakdowns, fake breakouts. It was absolutely nothing here. Really nothing. So, yeah, I mean, that's what you got on SPY. Really quick. Let's just go ahead and we'll look at QQQ. QQQ. I want to say QQQ is kind of almost the same thing. Yeah, really similar candle. Gap down, kind of finish in the middle of the range. Looking here at the weekly. Weekly is now curling down on the on QQQ here, right? So has the trend 100% changed? No, it hasn't crossed over. Again, it's a lagging indicator, so it will already be in a downtrend by the time that crossover occurs. But it kind of signifies that okay, we are in a downtrend, but we're not there yet. But I mean, us being below and closing below the EMA 20 here on the weekly, you can also look at it from this way. Lower high, probably level high. Definitely, if we already taken out this previous lows as well. Haven't closed below it yet, to kind of get us here into this 580, where I think is like, the line in the sand before we probably drift lower, or we hold up. But I mean, that's probably not the best. Really look. I mean, outside of the market, not going to really talk much. I did bring up this dash, unfortunately, and I said it's probably an opportunity to take it short if it ended up at like 590. I think where I was talking about was like 595. I'm sorry, 195. It was like back into here from this previous gap. I remember this price like after market when I was looking at it. It was around like 195. It kind of held that or so. It looks like we kind of sold off even before we got there. In the morning, we kind of already forfeited that area. If you look here, we kind of stumped right into almost 200. Sold off right, pre-market. Sold off. Did try to push higher to 190. Sold right on off. For me, two biggest trades, and I'm really happy with these both of these trades. Was I traded SNDK. I'll kind of go over that real quick. SNDK was a big winner for me, and Carvana was a pretty good winner for me. Could have made more money on that. Got to go back and look at how I could have traded that much better. But SNDK, man, this was a sick ass move that I had on here in the morning. First of all, I've been trading SNDK, pretty much this since January. Beginning of January. It's something I've been trading. No, I did not catch, this big move up in the beginning, but I've been able to get in, somewhere, day trading SNDK to the long side and to the short side. What I did like about it was if you go here, let's just say we go to a 2 minute real fast. Um, I was watching it, looked at it, and we sold off in the morning, and it's not going to show it here, so let's go ahead and do this one. If you go here, how do I do this? Or if you go here in the morning, we did sell off early in the morning, and I literally grabbed like right around like 590 and 591. I had had a good amount of shares. Got a good ass move up, and I think I sold half around 606, 607. And I told myself, man, I probably cut myself short. When I seen that we had pulled back, looking at a 5 minute chart, let's go to a 2 minute chart really fast. We had pulled back, and I said, man, I probably want to add back this. I already locked in some profit. I ended up adding back after we held 600. I seen this kind of pull back into 600, and I added back the shares that I sold plus more, right? And I pretty much just used my cost basis as my stop. So pretty much I was like, all right, well, my new cost basis was like 598. And I was like, well, if I get stopped out at 598, I walked away with something no matter what. But let me see if I can actually get a move on this. And this thing went bonkers, right after 10 o'clock. And I think I sold somewhere around here, 623, 624 for a good move. Yeah, I went up to 634, but I didn't capture that entire move. But I was happy that not only that, I locked in some profit, but I was able to do the quick math and say, okay, I could probably add back those shares that I cut, and then I added back additional shares after that. And it bumped my cost basis from like 592 or so, or 591 it was around, up to 598, and I used that as my new stop, and I got this sick ass move all the way up, and I was just totally out for today on that. Flip over right at the while that was occurring, I was able to kind of flip over. You can see here around that same time, I was looking at this Corona. Now, mind you, this is a 1 minute chart, so for you people that don't like the 1 minute, fuck off. But I seen how I kind of dabbled here and traded sideways up into this 350 location. A good friend of mine said, man, you had that level marked out for a reason. And for some reason, I had 350 marked out. I don't know why 350 was marked out. Let's go see why. Okay, I kind of see like 350 was kind of like this opening back here on February 11th. We kind of peeked into it right here. We kind of, right, you kind of see it was acting as resistance right here. Right, kind of broke out, undercut it again. So yeah, I don't know. I seen this 349.50 area, and I was already up on the day. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a stab here, and I got in right as this candle broke this little bear flag. Right, little bear flag right here, dump, right, sick dump. You can see it here in the volume. All right, the volume kind of kicked in right here. Right around that time, we got a retracement. We worked off of this area right here, and I entered around 347 on good amount of shares. Took this down to the VWAP, and I had left 10 on, and I ended up selling it. Unfortunately, those 10 shares I had left, I ended up selling it in this range right here. I did not catch this last dump. I was just trading sideways, and I was like, man, I'm not going to sit here while I trade sideways. Where we at? I was like, I'm not going to sit here and I think it was like right around, yeah, right here. I was like, man, I'm not going to sit here and it trades sideways and this goes back up. I mean, my cost base was 347. I probably could have held on to those, just wait and see what happens. But I ended up selling out probably on this candle here around like 10:45 because I know I had hopped off for a little bit for a meeting. I don't got time to watch it, and then we kind of dumped off and really sold off all the way down to 315. So probably something I need to kind of revisit. I wasn't risking a lot, honestly, so I was really happy with the move that I was able to caught. The timing on it was almost perfect, similar to the timing that I caught on SNDK. And from there, it was nothing else for me to do. I mean, I made money in the market. I was able to extrapolate money from the market. There's no reason for me to overtrade anymore. So I was pretty much done for the day there. I looked around, didn't really see anything I like, and I shut it down. But yeah, that was a sick ass move. SNDK, sick ass move. When you're talking about both of these stocks, from where I entered 347. Again, I didn't capture the whole move, but from 347, this moved $30. SNDK, from where I captured it at down here, sick ass buy. This moved. Let's say right here. This moved all the way up here. This moved about $40. So I was really got a piece of two of the biggest movers in the market today. So really happy for that. But yeah, really peculiar. I keep saying peculiar, but yeah, really interesting area in the market. I do not know what tomorrow holds for us. It is OPEX. I don't know if there's anything that we need to be concerned about from an econ perspective. But honestly, for me, man, I'm good. I'm good. I mean, I've damn near made my month. Look at my equity curve. My equity curve is damn near parabolic. I can show you real fast. Let me see. Should have it. Should have it here. Yeah, let's do this. Right. Show you my equity curve year to date. Um, Equity curve pretty parabolic from the beginning of the year. Right, and I know I'm going to pull back. The thing is I just don't want a crazy crash. Right, I want it to be controlled, kind of like this. Right, yeah, I pulled back. Right, yeah, I had a little drawdown. Yeah, I had a little drawdown, but I don't want my drawdowns to be crazy, and that's really why I'm like I'm not even want to fucking trade tomorrow. I think I'm good to go for trading tomorrow. Um, but yeah, man. I mean, that's really it here. Nothing really else for me to kind of talk about. Again, NBIS still ripping. I wanted this to kind of build out. I'm not taking this, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days up in a row. Uh, AMPX. Somebody brought this to my attention. Just not really interested in any swings right now, but it doesn't look bad, but not something I really, really, truly want to buy. ONDS was one, but again, probably need to pull back 4 days up in a row. Pretty nice move here. This FJet has been crazy ripping, but the spread on these are pretty insane. So be careful with that. Again, up 4 days in a row. Not sure I want to be interested in that. This VAL, I mentioned this. I don't know if this was the one I talked about. There was one I had on here that had earnings yesterday. I don't see it on here. Um, yeah, I don't see it on here. BMI is the one kind of stopped out. This doesn't look bad. Right, might be the area to try again maybe. Right, it's kind of building out pretty cleanly here. Let's go take a look at VIX again. I talked about VIX. Right now it's just an uptrend. Right, uptrend still intact. I mean, to the uptrend changes, I think you got to be mindful of trying to swing shit, or at least just you got to definitely manage your position size. But all right, folks, that's all for me. Peace. God bless.